and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, we are going to be talking all about books I want to reread this year. This video was inspired partly because I have been rereading the Harry Potter series this year. I've been rereading them through audiobook, which I've never done. I've actually never reread the entire Harry Potter series in completion, so this is brand new for me. And I've been enjoying it so much. The audiobooks are fantastic, but just jumping back into that world and getting to get like another look at it, because it's been so long since I've been in that world. Like, I read them as a teenager. It's been a really long time, and so it's been really fun to see all the things I missed and catch all the details and see everything that's in the books but not in the movies and vice versa. And I've just been like really loving it, and it kind of got me thinking some other books that I wanted to reread. This video was also kind of inspired by a recent post I had on my Instagram, which if you're not following me, you should go do that. There's a link in the description below. But I had a recent post where I was talking about how I was in kind of a reading slump and I was feeling really uninspired about what I wanted to read. And I was talking about how when I'm feeling that way, a lot of the times I will do a reread. And a lot of you guys actually agreed with that and said that's what you do when you're in a reading slump too. And it just so happens I am in a reading slump right now. I have been having a really hard time staying interested in what I'm reading, and just nothing's really grabbing my attention. So I decided to sit down and come up with a list of books that I want to reread this year. There are quite a few. I have 8 books / series. I thought it might be fun to do a bit of a reading vlog for my rereads for some of these, or even a readathon if you guys wanted to join me. So if there is a particular book that I'm planning on rereading that you are interested in rereading, maybe we can come up with some kind of readathon and do it together, and I can do like a vlog style or something. I don't know how it works, so you may have to let me know because I'm brand new to this kind of thing. But I thought it would be fun to do something together, so let me know if any of these books interest you. Let's just jump into all the books that I want to reread this year. So the first book that I want to reread this year is actually a trilogy of books that I want to reread, and that is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I first read The Hunger Games when I was, I think, in my early 20s. I'm not entirely sure, but around that time I was just recently engaged. And I think my husband and I kind of read the series at the same time-ish. It's a little fuzzy, which is why I want to reread it, because it's been a really long time and I don't really remember it. And the last contact I had with this world was through the movies, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I remember loving the books. So I kind of want to jump back into it and get refreshed. Not to mention that the prequel, is it a prequel? Is coming out this month, which is A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I have heard is like a prequel, and it's a Hunger Games that took place during Maggie's time. So if you're familiar with the trilogy and know who Maggie is, I think it's her story, but then I've also heard that it's President Snow's kind of story. I have no idea. I haven't even read the synopsis of it. I don't think I want to, but I do think I want to do a reread of this first before I jump into that one. I know the other one is a prequel, so it wouldn't matter, but I kind of just want to jump back into the world and get back into Katniss and Peeta, and I love Peeta. This was kind of like my first look at what a dystopian world was like, and I really liked it. So yeah, really excited for this reread. I'm sure a lot of people are doing Hunger Games rereads right now or already have, but I'm hoping to get to this one pretty soon. Similarly to The Hunger Games, the next book series that I'd like to reread this year is the Twilight series. So I first read the Twilight series when I was 14. I think at the time the first 2 books were out, and then the other 2 I had to like wait, and I was like first in line for the next 2 books, because let me tell you, as a 14-year-old / 15-year-old, whenever I was when I read these books, I just ate up all that teen drama and angst. I was here for it. I know a lot of people give Twilight like a hard time, but when I read it, I was in that mindset, you know? Like, I was Bella. To me, it made sense. I connected with it on like a whole nother level, and I'm really interested to see how I feel about it now as an adult, like what, like 15 years later or however long it's been. I am really excited to also reread this series. I think I'm going to reread the entire series, but I'm just going to start with the first book just to see how it goes, because it has been a long time and I don't know if I'll still eat it up like I did as a teenager. But I did think it would be kind of fun to do a vlog style of my reread of Twilight. That way we can get all my thoughts and feelings while I'm right in it. So if you're interested in seeing that, let me know. Leave a comment down below if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. This series kind of brought me back to reading. I read a lot as a kid. I've always been a reader, but I kind of lost it a little bit in my early teen years, as a lot of people do. And this kind of brought me right back. My cousin actually was the one who introduced me to this series. She was reading it and she was like, you have to read this. And then I got completely hooked, and it just kind of like reignited my love of reading. I think it's gonna be really fun to jump back into it because I won't take it too seriously now, but I do think I'll enjoy it. I mean, hopefully I will, but it's been a really long time, so I don't remember all the details, which is why I'd really like to reread it again. This next book that I'd like to reread this year is one of my most recent reads on this list, and that is Serpent and Dove. I actually just read this book in the fall of 2019 and loved it. It was one of my favorite books of 2019, but I absolutely flew through this book because I could not put it down, and I feel like I may have missed some of the details. Not to mention the sequel to this book, Blood and Honey, is coming out this fall, and I'd really like to have a refreshed look at it before the sequel comes out. So this summer I'm gonna definitely reread this book because not only is it fantastic, and I loved all of the angst and banter, and the two main characters were so fun and complete opposites, so I really liked that. But also the plot was really great and intriguing, and like I said, because I binged this book so fast, I feel like I may have missed a couple of things, so I would really like to kind of get a refresh before the sequel comes out. But I'm definitely really, really excited for this one because, like I said, it was one of my favorite books of 2019. So all the books I have just recently talked about all have books kind of in that world coming out this year, and this book is also in that category, and that is An Ember in the Ashes. The fourth book comes out in December, which I'm so excited about. I love this series. So the fourth book is called A Sky Beyond the Storm, and like I said, it comes out in December, and that's primarily why I want to do a reread. I kind of want to refresh my memory on what's all happened because I feel like so much has happened. And these books are not only politically intriguing, it's kind of inspired by the Roman Empire, which I haven't read a whole lot of books inspired by that, so I think it's really unique in that way on its own. But also the romance in it is completely heartbreaking. You'll fall in love with these characters. The world is just amazing, and throughout the series it just continues to build and build on the plot and the characters, and there's a lot of development, and I can't speak highly enough about this series. With the conclusion coming in December, I would really like to reread the series and kind of get a refresh. The next book that I would like to reread is also a series, and that is the Lunar Chronicles. I picked up Cinder before I was even on Bookstagram, and by the time I got to the end of the series, I was just starting my time on Bookstagram. This series is kind of what led me to Bookstagram. I think I was looking things up on Instagram about this book, stumbled upon someone's post, I don't remember whose it was, and kind of fell into that community and never looked back. So this is kind of what started it all for me, and it has been a while since I have reread them, probably about 4 or 5 years now. And I really, really enjoyed them at the time. They were so fun. Each book is a different retelling of a different fairy tale story, but they're set in a sci-fi world. So for example, Cinder is obviously based off Cinderella, but our main character is a cyborg. And all the books, though they feature different main characters, they're all connected and telling an overarching story. I want to reread them because this book is actually one of the books that has a lot of really fond memories for me. I have a lot of books, obviously, that I own, but certain books have really special memories outside of the story. One of the ones that I have is this series, and that is just because I can clearly remember the day that I got it. I was walking through the bookstore with my husband. I saw it on the table, was really, really intrigued by the cover, but gonna walk away, and was just well, I don't know, I haven't heard anything about it. and my husband encouraged me to get it, and he told me to give it a try because it'd been a long time since I picked up a book on a whim. And at the time, we were kind of going through something really hard for the both of us. I'm not going to get into it, but basically this book is kind of tied to all those memories, and that's why it was so special to me at the time. Plus my husband, like with this entire series, he kept surprising me with the next book. As soon as I would finish one, he'd like pull out the next one and surprise me with it. This whole series has like a lot of really fond memories around it. I want to reread it to see if the memories kind of changed how I felt about the story or if I really enjoy them. Like I said, it's been about 4-ish years since I read the series, so it's been a while, and not to mention they were just really fun and cute and entertaining, so I think they'd be really great for when I am in a reading slump. The next book that I want to reread is also a series. It is a trilogy and one of my very favorites of all time, and that is Illumina by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I am in love with this series, and I've heard really, really good things about the audiobook, which I'm really skeptical about because this book is told in like a variety of different formats. So there's like text and like a dossier of file formats, and I'm not really sure how that will translate to audio, but I have had so many people tell me that the audiobooks were like some of the best they've ever listened to. So I'm really intrigued by that. And so I think I'm gonna reread it through audiobook, and I'd really like to do that this year because this is one of my favorite series, and I've never reread the series before, so I think it'll be fun to do it for the first time. And like I said, I want to give the audiobook a try. So the next book slash series that I'd like to reread this year is the Throne of Glass series, which I have the collector's edition here, and that's kind of what inspired my reread. And this is actually the series that I talked about in my Instagram post that inspired this video. I've actually never reread the entire Throne of Glass series since the last book came out. I have reread a couple of the books a couple of times, but never the entire series from start to finish. And I thought it'd be really fun to binge the entire series. It's one series that I have really enjoyed. It is another series that kind of got me started on Bookstagram, and it's one of the first series I read while on Bookstagram. And once I got the collector's edition of Throne of Glass, this book is just so beautiful that it made me want to reread it. And then thinking about rereading it, I wanted to reread the entire series and see kind of how I felt about the series again and fall in love with the characters again and the world. And I find Sarah J. Maas's writing just like really entertaining and like keeps you really captivated in that world, which is kind of what I'm looking for right now because like I said, I've been having a hard time reading lately. So I kind of need something like that. So I thought the Throne of Glass books would be a good one to do that. And I would really like to do the whole series back to back because I've never done it before. Finally, the last book slash series that I would like to reread this year is the Darker Shades of Magic series by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab, I guess. She goes by both. This is, I would say, like at least the top 3 of my favorite series of all time, but I've never reread it, and it has been a really long time since I read this first one, and then now it's been a year since I finished the last one, and the last one like pretty much broke my entire heart, and so I think I'm ready to do it again, which probably says something about me. But like I said, I really enjoyed this series. I find it really captivating and entertaining. The characters are incredible, and the whole world itself is just so unique and so fun. And yeah, I just had a really great time with this series, so I'd like to reread it again because it's, like I said, it's one of my favorites of all time, and I think it would be really fun to jump back into it. Okay, so that's it. That's my list. Those are the 8 books slash series that I would like to reread this year. Let me know in the comments below what kind of books you want to reread this year, if any. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if there are any books on this list that you think would be fun to kind of do like a read along, or maybe you just want to see like a reading vlog on that particular reread, let me know in the comments below and we can arrange that or figure out how to do it. Someone might need to tell me how to do a readathon or a read along, because I have no idea how those things work, so you may have to teach me, but I thought it would be really fun. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and seeing all the books that I hope to reread. I hope maybe inspired you to pick up one of your old favorites, or maybe check out some of these series if you haven't before, because I really enjoyed all of them, hence why I want to reread them. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.